All right, so now that we've had a bit of time to chat about putting materials on, let's take a minute to look at setting up an environment so that when you render this and export it, it's going to be something like a single color so that it'll be really easy to clean out of the background. Because personally, because a fair bit of the heavy lifting in this project might be done in Photoshop, it's really nice to have one single color that would be easy to kind of clean up out of the background, so that then if you're adding in like Calgary's skyline or whatever you want, and we'll get into that in future videos too, if you're adding all that stuff, then it just becomes that much easier to clean it up so that you can, add the desired realistic backdrop. So now we're going to take a look at environments. Okay, so to access environments, again, we're going into this like we're pretending it's completely new. You've never seen the tab before. All we want to do if we want to bring it up is we're going to move over to the command line. We're going to type environments and hit enter. Now, as you can see, there's a basic environment on there, but for the sake of really understanding this entire process, we're going to make a completely fresh one, so that you sort of know how to craft something like this that has a unified, easy to remove background. And just for the sake of demonstration, I would like it if we could maybe look at this part in ray trace, like the perspective rendering view that we're going to ultimately be taking. So here's what we'll do. We're going to right click, we're going to scooch down to ray trace, left click. And as you can see, now this is not bad. I mean, you can see how in Photoshop this would be pretty easy to pick this, to use the color picker, pick this whole color, which we'll get into, but we want to make it, I still want to show you guys how to create one sort of singular, really simple background. Here's what we do. We're going to move, once we're in the environments tab, we're going to move over to the plus sign, left click, create new environment. Just for this stage of the project, we're going to go to basic environments. That'll do just fine for now. We're going to left click. We're going to call this, why don't we just call this out as a unified gray backdrop. Because again, we just wanted something nice and simple and easy. Great. We're also going to give ourselves a little more real estate here. Move this over. We're going to pull this down just so that we can kind of see what we're doing a little better. Okay. Let's move this right out of the way. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we like this color here, background image. Now we could add an image if we wanted to, but again, for right now, I just want to show you guys about adding different colors here. Now we are going to stick with gray, but I would like to show you how easy it is to change the colors so that, if you do want to pick something that's, again, easy to remove in Photoshop, you know how to do it. We're going to left click on this. We're going to, we can really select any kind of color on the wheel here. I mean, if we wanted to select some crazy bright color, we certainly could. I mean, it'll help if we get this one out of the way. As you can see, that's not really doing anything for us, because, I mean, yes, this will be very easy to pick out now, but that is very jarringly green. So let's just stick with a nice gray. But so again, once we're in basic environment, that's very easy to change back. We're going to left click. We're going to pick something that's more so on the gray. And I know ray trace is a little clunkier on some people's machines. I personally really like to have this view in ray trace at this stage, so I'm going to recommend this might be something that's a little easier to do with the lab, if you can get into the Sapple lab one day. But you know what? This here, that looks pretty good, because that's going to be fairly easy to clean out. Now, granted, if we wanted to, we could even make this a little lighter. Actually, you know what? Maybe a little lighter is good. And now that you guys can see how easy that is to do, we can see that it's very easy to adjust. So now what we're going to do is, I know that for those of you who are working through this, you're going to end up coloring everything, you know, putting your pieces in, that sort of thing. But again, this is just the sake of demonstrating the tools. Let's say that you've colored everything as much as you want to. What we're going to do is, now that we have the environment set up, we've got our materials kind of painted on the way we like them. Now what we're going to do is we're going to give ourselves some extra space here for working. And you might recall from the previous videos when we used our ray trace, we're going to let that do its passes. And essentially then what we're going to do is we're going to move over to capture viewport to file. So let's just say this is rendered enough for this stage. We're going to left click, capture viewport to file, left click, generating preview. Let's see what it does. This, again, this is all for demonstration, but this will work for now. So now we're gonna go down to OK, and we'll just call this out as render sample in progress. Save. And then this is essentially going to produce a render for us. And you know, since a fair bit of this work will still be done in Photoshop, you know, if it's still looking sort of rudimentary, as long as the colors are generally there at this stage, that's okay.